Hi, everyone. My name is Jason Anderson, and I'm the Chief Technology Evangelist for the UltronGlow Network. And a little bit about me. I've been in crypto since 2018 when I led efforts at Microsoft for Azure Blockchain Service. Spent a stint over at Consensus leading Quorum Blockchain Service. So I spent a good part of my time applying blockchain to enterprise. And now with UltronGlow, I'm driving effectively the adoption and usage of UltronGlow really for more consumer and enterprise focus. Well, let's talk a little bit about what UltronGlow is, what makes it unique, and why you should check it out. First and foremost, UltronGlow is a decentralized storage network. Now, what makes UltronGlow unique is it's designed such that anybody can participate, not just high-end storage providers, but anyone with surplus storage on their computer and a reasonable amount of uplink bandwidth can provide that storage on a storage marketplace and make it available for other participants to rent. When you think about how we use our computers today, rarely are we using the majority of the storage space that we have. And when we do get to the point where we're filling up our hard drive or our solid state drive, we're going to go out and buy a new one or an additional one with a lot more storage than we need, at least for the near-term future. The whole idea behind UltronGlow is to turn that extra storage space into a resource that can be shared on the decentralized cloud for others to use while earning rewards for doing so. Now, what really drives that ability are some unique elements in the consensus protocols that exist for UltronGlow. First of all, UltronGlow is an EVM-based network, so it gets all of the benefits that are happening in the Ethereum community. It's also a proof-of-stake-based network. There are two additional consensus mechanisms that really drive the ecosystem for the ability to rent out storage. The first is called proof of capacity. Proof of capacity is the ability to effectively verify that storage providers on the network have the storage available that they claim that they have. The other is proof of space-time verification. That's the ability for the network to check to make sure that the uplink bandwidth that you've promised for access to your storage is actually available. So if either of those checks fail, you will then earn a penalty score. And if you continue to fail those checks, then your stake could be slashed in the network itself, which impacts your reputation. On the other hand, if you provide good service, you have a good score, then you're more apt to be chosen by renters to use your services. So it's important that if you're going to become a storage provider, that your machine's available, your network's stable, etc. Now, there are multiple ways to participate in the UltronGlow network. We just covered being a storage provider, but in addition, as a traditional proof-of-stake network, you can also stake into validators or bring a validator of your own onto the network itself and earn POS rewards. But we take staking even a step further. You're actually able to stake into existing storage nodes on the market. So that will allow you to earn proof of capacity rewards over time on those nodes. And if you think about it from a renter perspective, as I'm looking in the marketplace and I see storage nodes available, those that have a higher stake have a higher risk associated with them in terms of being slashed if they don't provide good service. So you can rest assured that as you choose nodes that have a higher stake, that they're more incented to keep that node available for your use. As we look at the roadmap for UltronGlow going forward, we have some exciting developments primarily around storage fragmentation. Today, when you rent storage on the UltronGlow network, you're renting a specific node for your data. With storage fragmentation, instead, you will select a storage pool that will consist of multiple nodes that ensures that you have data redundancy and backups and even geolocation for optimum bandwidth based on where those nodes are located. So a lot of exciting developments, more to come. So if you want to learn more about what we're doing and what we've done in the roadmap, best place to go is to ultronglow.io. You can see in our roadmap where we've been and where we're heading towards going forward, and more to come here. So keep an eye out, and you'll be able to get all the great latest information of what's happening. So now I want to talk a little bit about bringing applications over to the UltronGlow network, and specifically gaming scenarios. Gaming on blockchain networks today is really seen a huge rise over the past few years. Certainly challenges that have come with it as well. And UltronGlow is uniquely positioned to provide some services from its decentralized storage nature to help overcome some of those challenges. First, I want to talk about the fundamental level around the consensus mechanism for any blockchain network proof of stake. UltronGlow has taken proof of stake a step forward by implementing a modified proof of stake. And effectively, what's happening is rather than a pool of validators that are always taking turn validating transactions, there's a limited set of validators at any given time running on the UltronGlow network, 21 to be precise. Those 21 validator nodes are selected based on a few points of criteria. How much is staked into the node itself, but also its reputation score for availability. So while anybody can bring a validator node to the UltronGlow network, through the candidate house model and election process that exists to be what's called an Ultron node or an active validator, one of those 21 validator nodes, ensures that the nodes that are selected are reliable and fast. And by the nature of having 21 at any given time during an epoch that are validating transactions, what that results in is a incredibly fast transaction throughput for the network. So for UltronGlow, we're able to achieve 600 transactions per second. That ultimately results in not only lower latency, but also lower gas fees on the network itself. So for example, a single transaction on UltronGlow today is around 1/10 of a cent. So it's super economical to be able to have transactions on the network for GameFi applications where you're talking about any set of items in a game, as an example, that could be NFTs, whether it's loot, armor, etc. for that game. There are a lot of transactions that are going to be processing in those cases. So having that transaction throughput and low gas fees are really important. The other key benefit that UltronGlow provides is the fact that it's a decentralized storage network. So that those assets, for example, that you have in-game that are NFTs being minted on the network, not only is the metadata on the network where it's typically at, but the actual assets themselves, the images for the armor and stuff that you typically wouldn't store on a blockchain network directly, but store in file storage somewhere else. In UltronGlow's case, those assets can be stored on the decentralized network. They're natively tied and then a part of the blockchain itself without actually bloating the blockchain data structure with those assets. Now, with the fact that that storage then is available in a geolocated way that's beneficial to you means that accessing that data is much quicker potentially. Think about this as you take this a step further and think about game assets such as map data, right? The heavy assets that you have to pull in order to load a game by being on the network itself versus a separate data center somewhere. The potential that those assets could be cached as a part of your decentralized storage node itself, if you're a storage node, then gives you the ability to access that data quickly for faster load times and overall better reliability. So UltronGlow is uniquely positioned to be a really good platform for GameFi with the combination of fast transaction processing, low gas fees, and storage natively attached to the network makes it a great solution. That's my time. So if you want to learn more about UltronGlow in addition to ultronglow.io, please join our Telegram channels. We have two. We have one for our international audience, and we have one for our Chinese-speaking audience. So again, thank you for the opportunity, and look forward to seeing you as a storage provider on the UltronGlow network.